Hello, this is Mohammed Siddiq, publisher of a Billionaire Mentor magazine, Lifestyle Entrepreneur magazine, Real Estate Income magazine, and Work From Home magazine. Today, I have a very special guest who actually help other CEOs, business owners who really have a proven message. They already have impacted so many people's life. Now they really want to take their message to the next level. I really mean next level mean like building a brand and amplifying it and impacting the whole world almost, being a New York Times best-selling list, Wall Street Journal list, and many, many other lists. So he is no other than Michael Drew from Promote a Book. Michael, I love your smile every time. I had opportunity to listen him by sitting in the audience side in two events, and we have some common trusted friends. In fact, I call my common trusted friend first before even I have a call with Michael, just to make sure that I'm bringing the right guest for you guys. Okay, that's how much I care about you as a CEO of a company, because you need to be introduced to the right person. That's a very absolutely critical in our credibility. And he is no other than Michael Drew. Michael Drew, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
So, Michael, where were you? What happened? How you got started? And you are doing it so successfully, much better than anybody else. What has inspired you?
When I was 23, I was in New York City attending a couple of events. One was Book Expo America, and another called the Publishers Marketing Association, and the last was the 30 Under 30 and Business Luminary Awards for the top business journalists in the world. And in fact, I co-hosted the last two. And I was touring New York City, or walking the streets with my mentor and first New York Times bestselling author, Roy H. Williams, who owns the fourth largest ad agency in North America for buying advertising, radio specifically. And Roy said to me, he said, Michael, the winners and losers in life are determined when the teams are picked. There are two teams that are essential for your success. The first are the team of people who you pick to be on your team, or rather, the first are the people who pick you to be on their team, and the second are those that you pick to be on your team. And I was very fortunate in my early career to be picked by some of the world's top experts in various fields. The very first expert that picked me to be on his team was a gentleman by the name of Ray Bard. Ray owns a publishing company called Bard Press, and he's published some of the biggest business books of the last decade, including Southwest Airlines' Crazy Recipe for Success, the Wizard of Ads trilogy, Jeffrey Gitomer's books, the Lure Book of Selling, the Lure Black Book of Connections and Beyond, and of course, more recently, Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. And Ray said to me the first day I worked at Bard Press, he said, Michael, our authors want one thing more than anything else. They want to be a best-selling author. What I want you to do is go figure out how the bestseller list works. And at the time I was 18 and a half, and I said, sure, I can do that. And I went out and I marketed the first book I worked on for Ray, Secret Formulas of the Wizard of Ads by Roy H. Williams, to number 3 on the New York Times and number 1 on the Wall Street Journal bestsellers list. And it was at that time that I developed a deep relationship with Ray, and then with Roy Williams and others. So I was very fortunate at a very formative age to be picked by some of the most brilliant business minds in the world to be on their team. And later in life, I was able to select some of the top experts in various fields in terms of content and publishing to be on my team.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michael. Why it's so important to achieve a best-selling status to have wild success in their thought leadership or topic?
Well, being a New York Times bestseller has huge intrinsic value to a business. It gives credibility to what you're doing, but it's really in the process of leveraging what we define as your existing marketing platform in the generation of the sales to become a bestseller where you have the greatest impact on the business. It's that activity of leveraging what you have and what could be and creating a system to take a business from point A to point B. It's that activity where you see the biggest benefit. A New York Times best-selling campaign will break through that proverbial glass ceiling that keeps a business or business owner at a certain level. When you're ready to break through from through this proverbial glass ceiling to the next level, that's when you need to do a best-selling campaign.
Wonderful. And I know that like a number of people you have your clients and they have done achieved that success. One of them is like my CEOs will be meeting them in person, and his name is Robert Shamin. Tell us what book you have done for him and what was the experience and what was the skepticism from him, and in general I'm not looking for any specifics, and what it takes. Take us through the journey of how you start. We're not talking about any dollar amounts here. How you start and what's the kind of happy client look like and what's the average client look like when you actually go through them. I know you're very picky to work with.
Well, you know, what I want to tell you is every campaign that we do is custom. What we're doing is using a book or a piece of content to expand your audience, expand your reach, to enhance the depth of the relationship that you have with your audience. And so every campaign that we run is unique from one client to the next. But what we do is we leverage an existing relationship with an audience to pre-sell books to ensure that we make the bestsellers list. To give you a couple of quick examples, again, Roy H. Williams was the first author that I marketed to the New York Times bestsellers list. And he owns the fourth largest ad agency in North America for buying radio advertising. And what we did for his book, Secret Formulas of the Wizard of Ads, was mail out an advance copy of the book to the general manager of every radio station in North America. And we asked them to buy 20 copies of the book and run 200 radio ads promoting the book within a given time frame. And by doing that, we were able to launch the book to number 3 on the New York Times and number 1 on the Wall Street Journal. Now, the benefit to them was that if they bought 20 copies of the book and ran the radio ads, we would give them a copy of Roy's 12-tape training library, which would better train the radio station sales reps on how to sell radio. Further, the book argued that radio is the best form of advertising for a smaller, medium-sized business. So between the better training for the radio sales reps and the book arguing that radio is the best form of advertising, we were clearly giving the radio stations a clear sales system to increase their overall sales for those stations. So we mailed that out to 10,000 radio stations. We had over 1,100 stations participate in that campaign. And of course, again, we launched the book to number 3 on the New York Times and number 1 on the Wall Street Journal bestsellers list. Another example would be a gentleman by the name of Ivan Meisner. Ivan owns an agency called BNI, Business Network International. It's the world's largest business referral organization. It's your Monday morning breakfast group that gets together to pass referrals. Only that in BNI, they only allow one person per industry per chapter. One car salesman, one insurance salesman, one doctor, one lawyer, so on and so forth. And going to a meeting in New York or LA or London or Mozambique is exactly the same. They have the exact same format from one chapter to the next. And their intention is to create forced hot referrals for all of their members. And what we did is we had all of BNI, so you're aware, is a franchise organization. And what we did is we had the franchise owners within North America contribute a chapter to a book called Masters of Networking. And what we asked them to do was to do a membership drive through doing a book signing all on the same day at the same time. And we did 56 book signings on the same day at the same time throughout North America. We broke the Guinness World Record, launched the book to number 2 on the New York Times, and number 1 again on the Wall Street Journal bestsellers list. The third example that I'll give you is a gentleman by the name of Jordan Rubin. Jordan owns and is the CEO of a nutraceutical company called Garden of Life. Now, you can find Garden of Life products at GNC and Whole Foods and most grocery stores, but 70% of their revenue comes from online retailers. And what we did is we wanted, at the time when I worked with them, they were a $19 million a year grossing company. And what we wanted to do was increase the overall gross revenue of the company. So what we did is we came up with a new formulation of products that we sold as a package for $100. Now, the average online reorder from our online partners was $50 per month. And so what we did is we went out to these online retail partners and said, look, we've created a new formulation, a new set of products that your customers need to order every month. We're going to retrain your clients to spend $100 per month versus $50. To do that, what we want to do is give them a copy of the book, The Maker's Diet, with their first purchase. What that means to you as the affiliate partner is that we'll only be able to pay you commission on $75 instead of $100 because we're using the $25 to pay for the book that we're going to send to them from the retailers. But we're going to train them to spend $100 per month beyond that, which is what we did. And we launched the book, kept it on the bestsellers list for 64 weeks, #1 USA Today, 16 of those weeks, USA Today bestsellers list. And we were able to take the company from a $19 million a year grossing company to over a $72 million a year grossing company by successfully launching the book. So what these case studies show is that the effective launch of a book has a direct impact on a business. Roy was able to take his ad agency and the number of keynote presentations he was giving each year and increase them from 50 in the year before he did the bestseller campaign to 62, I believe it was, the next year. But he went from $5,000 a keynote to $20,000 a keynote on just that one service. Ivan was able to literally double the size of BNI due to the successful promotion of each of his books, Masters of Networking and then Masters of Success, and so on and so forth.
That's amazing. That's amazing, and I'm sure these are your best case studies. As an average, someone new CEO of a company, if they are thinking to actually do it, they say, "Oh yeah, this all looks good, but I'm not a BNI. I'm not this. I'm not this. I'm not this." Like all those skepticism, and I'm a very skeptical person when I'm trying to work with a new person. On the other side, how would you answer their question because they are not that big themselves at this stage?
Well, what you're talking about is the size of the organization, right? So, while I'm known for putting books on the New York Times bestsellers list, I'm 80 for 80. I'm pretty good at it. Really, what we do, I own a marketing agency, and we specialize in building marketing platforms for our clients. So essentially, a book becomes a marketing tool or marketing device for the overall company. And what we look at is, a product or service sells when the goals and values of the business meet the goals and values of the customer. If your goals and values are here and your customers are here, your product or service is not going to sell. What we do is we make sure that the two are aligned. Doing a bestseller campaign or a book or any other activity of platform building is how we create that alignment. Now, I believe that everybody is born onto this planet with a sole purpose, an S-O-U-L purpose. That sole purpose isn't for you, it's for the service of your fellow man. My agency specializes in helping people, and this is what our sole purpose is, find their voice, test and refine their voice, and ultimately share and amplify their voice. Getting a book on the bestsellers list is amplification of voice at its highest level, but it only represents about 15% of what we do. There's a lot of other things that are necessary in order to find your voice, a lot of things that are necessary to test and refine your voice, and a lot of steps that are necessary in order to share your voice before you ultimately amplify your voice. So what I would tell you is if your company or agency isn't large enough to support a bestseller campaign, that's fine. That's simply a tool or a tactic in the growth and building of your business.
Thank you. That helps a lot. I know it's quite expensive to actually go through this one. It's like a labor of love, and probably we are talking about like I was talking to Michael before. It's almost like a 9 months. That's like from conceived to a child is born already. That's like almost like a labor of love. Ask any woman who have a kid. I'm a father of a daughter, so I get the idea. So you are committing yourself to work hard on a client, and I'm sure client has to do a lot of on their side. And many clients say we are going to do, but very small number of people actually follow through. Follow through is a really big thing, a long-term commitment. How do you actually work on clients to make sure you be on them to make it happen. Otherwise, at the end, it affects your big name, which you already 80 out of 80. You said that's a big score.
Well, I cheat. I only work with winners. We have a very specific process and system that we take our clients through. And if our clients won't go through that process and system and play within the rules and constraints and processes that we set up, we don't work with the client. The reason we are successful is because we know what it takes to be successful. I have built business after business after business. And that's because I know what a winner looks like, and I know what it takes to be a winner. And real winners know what they know, and they know that they don't know anything outside of what they know. Meaning, if you're a real guru, I'm not the guy to hire because I don't believe in guruship. I believe in leadership. And a real leader knows that they know what they know, and they know that they know very little about anything else. And what that means is, if you know that this is your specialty, this thing here, own that. Be the expert that owns that thing. But if you want to grow to have a business that is larger than your own shadow, you have to recognize that it's not your job to be an expert at financing. It's not your job unless that is your business. It's not your job to be an expert at leadership. It's not your job to be an expert at marketing. It's not your job to be an expert at customer service. Your expertise is in one thing. Be that person, own that thing. It goes back to my client Gary Keller and Jake Havison with the book, The One Thing. There's one thing, that sole purpose that you're good at. Own and be that thing, and surround yourself with a team of people who are real experts at what they do. The reality is, and I hope most of your CEO clients know this, the job of a CEO is to set the vision, create the intention, and hold the space. They should be surrounding themselves with a team of people who are experts at taking their vision, at taking their intention, and implementing and executing that. Right? That's the goal of the CEO. The goal of the CEO is not to go in and do all the nitty-gritty work. I am a marketing and thought leadership expert. When my clients hire us, they don't hire us to do a bestseller campaign. They don't hire us to build a website. They don't hire us to do social media. They don't hire us to buy radio or TV or print advertising. They hire us essentially as an outsourced chief marketing officer to come in and manage the totality of the marketing. Granted, we do offer tactical services. We do what we call persona architecture websites. We do what we call marketing bites, which is to split up content into smaller bite-sized components for customers. We do bestseller campaigns. But at the end of the day, the clients that get the biggest success from us are those that hire us to manage their audience engagement. So what I would submit to all of your audience, to anyone who's watching this video, that they need to accept the role of being CEO, of creating the vision, setting the intention, and holding the space, and surrounding themselves with a team of people who will implement and execute that.
Wonderful. And potentially, mostly the prospective clients, CEO clients, will be from a Middle East, like a Dubai and Pakistan. Have you worked with any international clients, and especially any experience dealing with this quote-unquote that part of the region?
I've worked with clients all over the world. What I would tell you is, based upon where you are in the world, there are cultural issues that come into play. Further, and this is the presentation that you've seen, there are cultural shifts from ideologies of me about the individual to ideologies of we about the community. And if you're in the Middle East versus the West, what cycle you're in will be different at any given time. So when we work with clients, we identify where they are. I have a client right now out of Singapore, and she works heavily in the East. The East is in a heavy me cycle today. The West, in the United States or Canada, is in a heavy V. The Middle East tends to be kind of in between. Will swing either to the me or to the we. Right now, The Middle East has swung slightly, I would submit, over into the me, along with the East. The Middle East, they're slightly more East than West. And so they're more following the me cycle, although they're less harsh than the rest of these, like China. So yeah, we've worked with people in all areas of the world. The having the philosophy and understanding of these cultural shifts is really important. But at the end of the day, what's important to note is that people are people, unless you're not, and you're an alien or a cow, at which point I'm not really marketing to you, and neither are you. But for the most part, people are people, and we have a very fundamental psychological and emotional conditioning. And if you understand what that is, then it's simply a function of understanding how to work within those psychological and emotional modalities to get the result that you're looking for. Now, again, which cycle you're in, a me or a we cycle, will have an influence on that. But at the end of the day, what we do within all of our marketing is psychological or psychology based.
Thank you. What would you say as a final word?
Well, a couple things. My mentor likes to say that the risk of insult is the price of clarity. Um, my experience in life is that um, too many people are focused on either gaining something or trying to have passion in what they do. My experience is that people who are successful are always passionate about what they do, but they would be passionate about anything that they choose to do. Real success follows action, and it's in the process of taking the right action where success happens. Again, if you're a CEO of a company, what's most important, what's most imperative is that you are mentored by the right people and that you have the right team that is surrounding you to make sure that your objective is being accomplished.
Thank you so much for editor cut from here. Michael Drew, thank you so much for joining me in the middle of the night. It's at 12:30 a.m. for my time. I'm a Wednesday morning at 12:30 a.m. That shows your commitment to show up and talk to you while I'm in transit from one flight to another one for a few hours. And I'm speaking from my hotel room. We had internet issues too. However, everything solved. I was relentless to actually come up and record this message. Thank you so much on the behalf of myself, my team, and my prospective customers, because this is how much we are actually committed to provide the information to them at the right moment with the right time, because this is the time to actually get going, because especially there is so much messages all over. It's very hard to actually differentiate themselves right now. That's the biggest problem. We have an information overload. We can't even make a decision on anything these days. There's no comparison. I think what you are providing is absolutely wonderful value, and look forward to speaking with you soon. And on the behalf of JV Genius and our entire team, thank you so much, and look forward to working with you soon.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.